a while to get this video to actually start playing or recording. That Meemee lady asked me some questions, of course, and I just woke up, but I'm gonna try to answer them anyway. She was saying she's new to the case, and of course, most people are. Even people who started looking at the case way back at the beginning, when they found Natalie's killer, those people, for the most part, just stopped giving a shit. Natalie's family didn't stop, though. I tried to get a hold of Natalie's family before Natalie was killed. Not her family in specific, I should say, in specific, her mother. By that point, I'd already been abused for over a year over things I didn't do. Things that Natalie knew I didn't do, things that Alicia knew I didn't do, things that I am certain Rose knew that I did not do. Those rumors were started by Maddie Boa in Boulder and just perpetuated from there. Now, don't get me wrong, it started off with Natalie's lies. Natalie claiming I stalked her because she was embarrassed. I don't even have any evidence that in Virginia that it was even Natalie who said that. And the computer in the cop car said that I was stalking a male family member when I was in Virginia. I'm like, what the hell's this shit? No, my fucking phone's broke, my car's broke, I'm fucking dehydrated. The hospital visit shows that I was taken to the hospital. The fact that I was hooked up to an IV for 4.5 hours shows, yeah, I was pretty dehydrated. This video is about my birthdays, right? Well, not really. My birthday in 2015, I hurt my back and had to move out of my shop. Well, I hurt my back moving out of my shop, actually. And of course, a year later, that's 2016, I visited with Miss Natalie. That was the last time I ever saw her. My birthday in 2018, I got to spend in jail because my public pretenders are liars and I didn't have anyone there in court. Just me. That's right. When they slander you all over the fucking internet and slander you all over the media and people are assaulting the shit out of you and people are threatening to kill your friends and threatening to kill your family and you try to turn it in, what's going to happen? Well, if you're a homeless male, you're going to get locked the fuck up. There's a lot of other victims in the jails too, people like Jacob Mann. I was sent to multiple jails, multiple jurisdictions, multiple mental hospitals, but none of them were actually mental hospitals. A lot of y'all are just, you don't know a whole heck of a lot about the world that you live in. You have assumptions and wives' tales, and you make your decisions based on that shit. Holy fuck, that makes it worse for all of us. So Meemee actually made a comment, made mention of two things. One of them that one of the channels was spreading some very malicious and hateful stuff that was untrue. So she unsubscribed to them. Well, I don't know as if that's all necessary, because all of them are malicious. None of them care about my side. So it's not like this is anything new. If she goes to any of these Natalie Bollinger groups or Natalie Bollinger sites, she's going to notice that, number one, the story keeps changing for these people. My predators. And number two, these people were malicious as fuck. Now, Meemee asked about another situation that happened on another birthday, 2019. Well, Natalie, by that point, had been dead for a while. Her twin sister had gone on a high-speed chase through multiple states with Ted Bollinger, and he had 18 grams of methamphetamines on him, and he was threatening to throw children out of the vehicle. The only quote-unquote child that he had was Alicia. Alicia was obviously as fucked up as she was. She can't stay off that shit either. How did he get his daughters to have sex with him? Well, get them all strung out on meth and then deprive them. Ted owns Alicia Bollinger the way that a southern plantation owner owned your grandparents. When she disappeared on my birthday in 2016, or sorry, not 2016, 2019, after being on a high-speed chase through Kansas and Oklahoma with her dad, both of which aren't supposed to even be allowed to leave the state of Colorado. Of course, I didn't stop and did it. It also didn't stop people from getting a hold of me. Bobby Forrest got a hold of me. He used to be friends with Natalie. On Natalie's friends list, he's still on her friends list as one of her friends. So he told me all 3 times that Alicia disappeared. He gets a hold of me to tell me that she disappeared. And the first time he basically wanted to accuse me of abducting Alicia. This is after Natalie's been dead for a while. And then he wants to offer to be my friend, and then after that, every time that Alicia Bollinger disappears, he gets a hold of me and says, hey man, Alicia's missing. You know, I'm in contact with her family. They're telling me this, they're telling me this, they're telling me this. The police and the Bollinger family work together to prevent me from being allowed to turn them in. Just like the cops here, I need somebody to actually help me who actually cares to find out what's going on, but there is a feller who doesn't know shit about what's going on, and he's gonna try to help me make that call today at 10 o'clock my time, and it's like, I don't know, somewhere around 8 o'clock my time now, so pretty shortly here. So yeah, my birthday, Brett Roloff, if you listen to the conversations with him on my YouTube channel, he also goes by Moose. There's a lot of videos where well, before I went to go see him, the videos that him and I talked in, well, we were able to verify I told the truth about the situation in Virginia with him and with me. And of course, the reasons that I didn't want to go to, not Virginia, to North Carolina to go see him after I had left Virginia. I didn't want to deal with Natalie and her family. Now, of course, I also got recorded footage of him just a couple days before my birthday in 2019, right before Alicia Bollinger disappeared for the 3rd time. I thought he was going to overdose. He swallowed a bag of meth. And he was digging through his own feces trying to find that bag of meth so he could smoke it. I'm like, dude, you're not going to be able to smoke that. It had already popped. That bag already opened internally, and you are fucking overdosing in your bathroom while digging through poop for meth. What did Natalie and Alicia have to look forward to? Shit like that. Anyway, the police, no matter what, made sure that I wasn't allowed to make a police report. That no matter what, because I always had to go in alone, that they helped my predators, no matter what. My so-called friends, like Miss Peaches, aka Kayla Trujillo, they blew smoke up my ass. And of course, they made token attempts just so they could claim that they did something, but the reality was they didn't give a shit who did what to me, or they would have spoken up. Now these people are recorded on my YouTube channel. They're recorded on my YouTube channel verifying that they're drug dealers. They're on my YouTube verifying that they're drug addicts. They're on my YouTube verifying that I told the truth every step of the way, followed by them calling me a liar, followed by me explaining to them that I already recorded them saying it and put it on YouTube. So, yeah, people are pretty stupid. About the life insurance policy thing that you were saying, yeah, that I suppose is a possibility. But, and especially with all the money that Ted ended up getting, you're probably, a lot closer than most people are to having a functional brain, Miss Meemee. So, yeah, your ability to put stuff together, your ability to look at a situation and put two and two together is pretty good. Obviously, some of the stuff that you thought about Ted, that you typed at me, that, yeah, maybe you shouldn't speculate like that because you're new to the case. You're right. You're right. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. Getting to know the situation is pretty important. But just so you know, Ted Bollinger might be in San Antonio, Texas, right now, human trafficking. So that's something important to note too. Any of you, especially you mothers, it would be a lot of help if you mothers would help with this, would take a look at it, would try to understand the situation. Those of you who are drug addicts, yeah, Natalie was a drug addict. Absolutely. No, the things that I did after all of the abuse that I endured probably were not that fucking nice. But these are dynamics that you guys are all aware of. Those of you who are single moms who got to deal with a lot of these situations, you can verify that these are very real situations. You can verify how real your fears are. You can verify how real mine are. I had a lot of friends of mine who I recorded verifying situations that happened. They want to pretend I'm a bad person for doing that, but you know what? People have been threatening to kill my sister. People have been threatening to kill my niece for, well, over 6 years now. At first, they weren't threatening my niece and my sister directly. They were threatening me, telling me that they would do this to my family and they'd do that to my family, including Tim Beeson, who is the ex-boyfriend who was, well, he started fucking Natalie when she was 14. He was also calling her up, threatening to blow his brains out because after he raped her, he bought her a dog. And then when she decided she was going to leave him, he kept her dog. And he held her down and screamed in her face and a bunch of other creepy shit like that. Now imagine my surprise when this douchebag starts getting a hold of me and threatening to kill, of course, my family. Now I'm trying to go through and find all this horrible, horrible, horrible Sean Schwartz evidence that they claim that these things happen in Virginia. I'm like, there's no fucking evidence of that. Where's my literally hundreds of text message, hundreds of emails? No. With that broken phone in Virginia, that was definitely a fucking pain in my ass. And yeah, it definitely had a mind of its own, especially with word prediction. I fucking hate word prediction. I hate it. I'm tired of going back through and reading something, and I'm like, oh, that's why that person blocked me. Word prediction. Fucking swell. Anyway, what else did I need to address that she was typing? Um, so yeah, I didn't mean to mislead you into believing that Alicia Bollinger was still missing. Just Alicia Bollinger has gone missing repeatedly. She has also been in trouble for drugs repeatedly, and in specific. See, here's the difference between the hospitals. When cops tell the cops, when hospitals are told by the cops that you're on drugs, the hospital writes down drugs. When the hospital does a whiz quiz, they write down what the fuck it was. So, of course, let's say the cops tell the nurses that I'm on drugs. Nurses write down that I'm on drugs. Well, that's not what a nurse is going to write down if she actually does a whiz quiz. That's not what she's going to write down if the hospital actually does their job. What they're going to write down is what you have in your system. Let's say you're smoking meth, right? And you've actually been smoking meth. Like Natalie and Alicia Bollinger, and Ted Bollinger, and Rose M. Kelly, and Danica Garner, and oh my God, this on and on and on. Just lots and lots of meth in the family, lots of heroin in the family. So, kind of like the coroner situation with Natalie Bollinger. You know, I exposed her heroin use before she got killed. I exposed her father for molesting her before she got killed. How much did that have to do with her getting killed? Probably quite a bit. Probably not as much as her family. Probably not as much as her exes. Probably not as much as her drug use. But here's the thing about that. After over a year of being threatened, harassed, and assaulted over things that didn't happen, having multiple friends of hers that I don't know getting a hold of me and threatening to kill me, telling me they're going to kill my family, telling me they're going to do all sorts of creepy fucking shit. But Dual County Sheriff's Department didn't care. They claimed that they couldn't do nothing because wrong jurisdiction after the fact. While it was going on, they're fucking blowing me off and giving me the fucking mentally ill treatment. How the hell am I supposed to do anything or get anything done when everybody forces me to go to cops by myself and cops tell me shit like, oh, I got real police work to do. You know, you just need to man up. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Now Natalie Marie Bollinger is fucking dead. I'm not sure if you noticed, but she was somebody that I love very much and care about very much, and that was not fucking cool. I'm not sure if you noticed, but yeah, I love Christine Bouhid very much. Again, another addict. Not cool. She's dead as well. And of course, people want to accuse me of killing her. I'm like, how the fuck could I kill her? I was in prison when Christine Bouhid died. She died of an overdose of fentanyl. My YouTube channel is full of drug dealers admitting that they're drug dealers and also admitting that I don't. I don't deal drugs. I don't use drugs. Now, I'm sure somebody's going to argue that because soda pop could be considered a drug because tobacco absolutely is a drug. But what we're talking about is illicit. I'm not snorting cocaine. I'm not smoking meth. I'm not shooting up heroin. I'm not doing none of that shit. Now, a lot of people, they wanted to do fucked up shit and stab me in the back. And then they don't want to, of course, admit that they screwed up. So what they'll do is they'll take somebody else's situation where they want to assume that I screwed up. And then, of course, they should have been smart enough to go back and look at the evidence and listen to the situations with those people. But no, they didn't. What they wanted to do is be angry and judge. They wanted to be angry because I told the truth about them. So that must make it okay for them to lie about me. Well, that don't fucking work. Natalie Bollinger lied. She got busted lying. And, of course, made my life hell for it. A lot of women do that. I'm not going to pretend that it's a female-only trait, though, because I know a lot of females that don't do that shit. Now, every woman in America knows the bias. Just like every woman in America knows the flirt with an officer trick. Just like every woman, well, knows that there's 3 things that if she says them about a man, she can destroy his life without ever getting a court date. She doesn't even need one. She just says one of those 3 things, and men will destroy that man's life for her. And we get to see a perfect example of that. Natalie was embarrassed. I get that. But embarrassment is a horrible excuse for destroying another human being's life, especially using slander. You don't tell somebody that if they don't show up in Virginia, you're gonna fucking kill yourself. If they're stalking you. You don't get to treat them like they're the bad guy when you actually try to fucking kill yourself because they're not there fast enough. No, Natalie did not blame me for her busted leg. She did fuck it all up, though. She's the one who attempted suicide. She's the one who ran her car into that telephone pole. That was all fucking Natalie. All of that was Natalie. I didn't drive that vehicle into that telephone pole for her. I could not have. I was in Nebraska. I didn't put that heroin in her system. I couldn't have. I've never, ever been inside of her mom's house. Of course, how long after the fact did I have to expose her publicly for that heroin use? Of course she fucking hated me for that. Of course she ran around saying I slandered her fucking name. Lots of people love to do that. After they get busted lying, they just call you mentally ill and pretend that you slandered their name. Boy, oh boy, are they fucking bright. Now, I get that Natalie was trying to make her family happy. I get that she was trying to make child molesters like Ted Bollinger happy. I get that she was trying to make sexual deviants and perverts like Maddie Boa happy. See, Maddie Boa, she didn't want to be friends with the twins, as she called them. She always called them the twins. Like, don't they have names? They do. Natalie and Alicia Bollinger. As we've been noticing recently, there is obviously a lot more female sexual predators than, well, we wanted to pretend that there were. There's a possibility that over 60% of sexual assaults in the United States are perpetrated by women and nobody ever comes forward. Most of the women that I know that have come forward in recent years about their abuse were abused by their mothers. What the hell kind of a sicko mother rapes her child? And of course there's no mother would ever do that. Mothers wouldn't do that. No mother would do... Really? That's kind of like saying no mother would abandon their child at a church. Are you sure? Oh, now you want to get into the technicalities, because at that point you've lost your argument. So now you want to say, oh, well, that's not a real mother. Ah, yes, we've gone through this with the Christians, haven't we? With Christians doing horrible shit, making excuses to look the other way. And you say, you know what? Look at these Christians who did these things to me. Oh, well, they're not real Christians. If they were real Christians, they wouldn't do that. Okay, apparently Rod Wright is not a real Christian. He pretends to be a pastor, but he's not ordained. Kind of strange, ain't it? This became a very complicated situation because it was all over the news, and now it's got a cult following. And for me, trying to explain this after just waking up, I'm not having any coffee in my system. I'll be without coffee until the first of the month, but at that point, I might be able to function. I probably do have enough gas that I could drive down to the Starbucks. I might have enough on my card for a coffee, but I don't think so. So it's just basically sit in my vehicle and hurry up and wait for the first to roll around. Anyway, in typing, I'm not very good at explaining shit. Um, yeah, Alicia Bollinger was found all 3 times she went missing. Unfortunately, it was due to police negligence and Ted Bollinger that she ended up missing the 3rd time. It's also due to the fact that they didn't fucking arrest her. She's a pretty white girl. It didn't matter that she was fucking junked out of her goddamn gourd. What mattered is that her dad tried to fucking get her killed in a fucking goddamn car accident. They arrested him and then they let him fucking go. Illegal firearms, meth, fucking high-speed chases across multiple states, endangering his daughter's life. And who is it that people get a hold of to threaten to kill? Me. That's right. Ted Bollinger fucks up, Sean takes the blame again. Ted Bollinger rapes his daughter, but people want to pretend like I would do something like that. You're out of your fucking mind. Ted Bollinger rents his daughter out. Ted Bollinger feed his daughter fucking drugs. Ted Bollinger beat the fuck out of his daughter. Ted Bollinger, Ted Bollinger, Ted Bollinger. And who is it? Who is it that just keeps on taking the abuse? And why do I have to keep on taking the abuse? Because cops fucked up. Between helping the Bollingers get away with their bullshit or admitting that they fucked up, these cops would rather help the Bollingers. They don't want to get in fucking trouble. These cops have, at this point, committed hundreds of felonies against me. Law enforcement, that's right, has committed hundreds of felonies against me because at the very beginning, they committed some misdemeanors and didn't want to admit to it, and their buddies in the department decided, oh yeah, well, we'll help them get away with it. There's no reason that this person should have to have their life destroyed by some filthy hobo who probably killed somebody. Like, are you out of your fucking mind? Who did I probably killed? Obviously, they found out. With Natalie Bollinger, wasn't me. With Selena Not Afraid, wasn't me. With Christine Buhit, wasn't me. If you are going to continue to blame me every time somebody fucking dies, lock me up. Seriously, put me somewhere. So that I don't have to worry that some goddamn nut job is going to go threaten and harass my sister and my niece every time one of these pigs wants to hide his goddamn crimes. Also, there's all the web wingnuts who wanted to pretend like they were going to help me, turned out to be fucking alcoholics and meth dealers. Is that my fault? No, it's not. I didn't make them alcoholics. I didn't make them meth dealers. They didn't share that information until I got to the fucking place. So, I mean, what am I supposed to do at that point? Especially when I've spent all of my resources getting there. Well, about an hour until I get to make my phone call. See if I have any those where the hell did I put them? Oh, there they are. Oh, woohoo! Yeah, they're all melted, but they're still cold, or they're still wet. They're still colder than my body temperature, and they still got sugar in them. So this will be my breakfast this morning. Obviously, with this video, it's going to be one of those ones where it doesn't quite all fit together right, because I'm half asleep trying to explain it, but it's better than procrastinating until next weekend before trying, huh? The hell is he fucking honking at? That's just insane. As a city worker honking for what appears to be no reason. But that doesn't mean that he didn't see something in front of his vehicle that I couldn't see from behind it. Matter of perspective. When you guys talk about perspective, well, you guys want to argue the difference between opinions and evidence that is factual. When I refer to perspective, I'm referring to field of vision. A lot of people claim that they would go in with me to turn things in, and then they didn't. Many of them wanted to play victim afterwards. Wanted to play like I had done a horrible thing by showing the truth. But I do it in a very unique way. I record you, and then I post the shit out of it on the fucking internet. You don't get to threaten to kill my friends and have me say nothing. You don't get to threaten to kill my friends and family and have me say nothing. You don't get to intimidate my sister and have me say nothing. You sure as hell don't get to intimidate people and their children. Dallas Richmond admitted that, yeah, people were fucking harassing him. They were warning him not to help me, and so he fucking didn't. He sat there fucking depressed when he was at home. Sat there depressed and played video games and drank. What did he like to drink? Well, he'd like to drink Fireball. Yeah, he liked to drink Crown Royale, but he got the apple flavor. I got so many green Crown Royale bags from him, like, how would I not have those extra Crown Royale bags when he drinks that heavy, when he drinks that much? And yes, I use them for all sorts of different things. But Dallas, he finally fessed up to that shit. Way out. By on his way out, I'm not saying that he's dead, because he's not. He's still breathing. I meant on his way out of my life. If Dallas needs my help, he will probably get it. If he calls me up and says, hey, Sean, I'm at risk, they're trying to take my kids again, Scott DeCosta is pulling some skeezy bullshit, well, you goddamn right I'd go do something about it. But, of course, he don't give two shits, does he? He never looked at the evidence, never bothered to try. I did spend a lot of money on him. Spent a lot of money on a lot of people who were going to help me and never did. By helping me and never did, Dallas did put me, well, in his place. He put me up there, so he did absolutely help with the place, didn't he? But he didn't help me to do the paperwork stuff. He knew that I couldn't do it myself. He didn't speak up about the situations that he was telling me about. Thank goodness I recorded some of them and they're on YouTube. He talks about Jamie Curtis on more than one occasion. See, it wasn't just Natalie Bollinger and her friends that made my life hell. It was also the people who had wanted to play me for years, to take advantage of me, and I thought these people were my actual friends. When Natalie disappeared, it turned out that they were just scammers like everybody else. And I was dumb enough to have to believe them. Confusing how I said that, isn't it? Yeah, I keep getting told that I'm dumb for believing those people, and I should have this and I should have that. Well, I don't have the ability to read the future. And hindsight is 2020. When somebody stabs you in the back, well, shit. If you had that magic clairvoyance to see the future, you could have sidestepped that and not gotten stabbed in the back. But you couldn't have changed human nature. In Boulder, when your girlfriend breaks up with you, people don't say you lost your girlfriend. They say you just lost your turn. That's not to say that a woman is an object that everybody's taking turns with. But the point there is that she's a woman. She's a human being. She's able to make her own decision, and if she doesn't want to give you an opportunity anymore, she wants to be done with you, and she wants to try somebody else, she has the right to do so. The problem with me is that people wanted to pretend that me and Natalie had a sexual relationship and I couldn't take no for an answer. And of course the messages between Natalie and I show that she thought she was in love with me, and I had to fucking talk her out of that shit. And of course Mandy Singer read that. She didn't read it aloud for y'all, which is really what I needed. Kind of like paying my sister $1,800 altogether. I needed my sister to read that shit out loud, but she was too busy getting fucked up and hanging out with her friend Ed. Now maybe it's a situation with her medications. It might be. It also might be a situation where she was all fucked up on drugs. It might have been a situation where her and Ed wanted to go get some drugs, and they just figured, well, we'll go over to Sean's, we'll pretend to help him a bit, and then we'll go and get our drugs. See, Tara didn't really, when she came over the first day, she just came over to get money for car insurance. That's what she cared about. Kind of like with Dallas, you know. Dallas had asked me, he didn't have any money for car insurance, and I was already paid up, and he kept on telling me that, but he needed money for car insurance, $400, so I gave it to him. And he admitted what he spent it on. You know, not all of it was good things. He didn't spend it all on gas and insurance. Matter of fact, he didn't spend any of it on insurance. He asked his dad Mark for insurance money, and his dad Mark gave him money for insurance. Now, I didn't find that out until later from Mark himself, because Mark Richmond is a frequent visitor over at Dallas Richmond's. And of course, that was also after Dallas Richmond had informed me that he had spent the money, some of it on booze and some of it on food for the kids and food for him, and, you know, $400. It wasn't easy for me to get. And then, of course, I gave him another $400 because he asked me for insurance money again. And then, of course, I gave it to him. And then, of course, there was the part where he asked his dad for money, and his dad gave it to him. So Dallas Richmond, I mean, that's $1,200 just between two people for car insurance. Was he scamming me? Was he scamming his dad? Does it matter? It absolutely does. He wants to complain to me, people warned me not to help you. Well, maybe you should come forward about the people who warned you instead of being a little bitch. I cite my sources, Dallas. That includes you. Not only do I cite my sources, I fucking record them. That includes you. Anyway, I hope this message gets to Meemee. I hope it clears up some of the questions asked, and I hope it allows folks to understand a little further what the situation's really like. A lot of these folks who stabbed me in the back, they're not bad people. They're not horrible people. They're not evil people. They're just cowards. You know, they were all gung-ho until they realized it was the cops who were coming down on them. It was the cops who were threatening, harassing, and intimidating. It was the cops who were, well, harassing the wrong people, refusing to take a police report. The volunteers used other people and manipulated other people into doing these crimes. When I spoke up, I was victimized further. When I showed the truth, they tried to destroy it by calling everything slander, by calling everything spam. Now, at the very beginning, those algorithms worked. Anything that they wanted to type on, that they wanted to call spam, would disappear, and I'd be on another 30-day Facebook ban. They did this for almost 2 years, folks. Almost 2 years. When it died down a little bit, and it was seemed to me a little bit safer, that's when I let my sister know she could come out of the woodwork. With as scary a situations as she has been in since Natalie Bollinger was killed, it was a lot of risk. It was a lot of risk on my sister's behalf, and it was a lot of risk on my niece's behalf. I mean, my niece didn't do anything. She didn't have any part of this situation. She didn't have part of the scenario. She doesn't deserve to be fucking threatened like that. A lot of my quote-unquote friends were friends with, well, whoa. All right, I accidentally pressed the wrong button, and it wanted to end the live stream, and then I accidentally closed out of it entirely. I'm surprised I came back to it still recording. I don't remember what it was I was trying to explain anyway, so I guess it don't matter. Good to be radio. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Oh, and remember, you are your brother's keeper.